Morgan, getting underway. The slimline Morgan, he's lost over 3 stones in about 3 months. He'll sell you the secret, ladies. The commentators on this are Ray Edmonds and John Spencer.
Can Darren Morgan get through to this red to the right corner past the blue? If he can, he'll have a go.
One.
Difficult match for the young Welshman. His record against Stephen Hendry is not good, and that's true of many players.
Eight. Nine.
Yes, and certainly a chance for Darren to get a
60.
few points in front here. Still another loose red over the centre pocket.
17.
Well, Darren would have preferred to get through to the red to the left middle. He took the chance on splitting the reds there, knowing that red was available. Can't hit that one, but the other one is near straight for the far corner. Problem is, if he misses it, sure to leave Stephen a chance. That always puts pressure on the pot.
And that's a great recovery shot from Darren.
$32.
Well, Darren wished to split the reds off the blue. After this next red, he wouldn't have much problem. But I think the red at the back of the pack might go into his right-hand corner pocket. In fact, he's elected to take that first. Or he was.
$33. $38.
Well, last time the angle on this red was going to take the cue ball into the pack. It still will do slightly, but I think he can run off the edge of the other reds, as long as he judges the pace correctly. Obviously he doesn't fancy it. I think he's hitting it somewhat harder.
39.
Yes, played it totally different, but it certainly worked out for him. Yes, and it's just the sort of start Darren needed, having a tough match like this.
Pink won't go on the spot, and
45.
the referee always takes a little time to get it in the precise spot, in a direct line, as near to its own spot behind it. Couldn't get it much nearer than that. Steady hands our referees have got.
$46.
Obviously, this is where Darren's problems are beginning. Just that one red. Just check to see if he can hit enough of it for the middle. And that was the problem. He didn't have enough angle to get the pace on the cue ball. The stun took all the
53.
power. But a great start.
Well, it looks as though he's taking this red into the yellow pocket, screwing back for the black, should he get it? And that's a great shot.
54.
And what a confident start this has been from Darren. And still in good position. Probably have to split the reds. But certainly has the right angle here. Well, looking at that angle, he doesn't need to split the reds. There is a red there. Will pass into this corner pocket.
$61.
And red come out there nicely for him into the centre. And you would now certainly expect Darren to go on and win the frame at this visit.
62.
But just the blue from one more red would be sufficient.
$67.
Wow.
67. Darren Morgan.
Amazing. He only needed the red to leave Stephen wanting snookers. And that perhaps was in his mind, but it's a great opening break of 67. But very dangerous to leave the world champion in this situation with a chance of winning.
One.
Yes, and that's a good opening shot from Stephen, but to win the frame at this visit would take a hell of a break with the two reds tied up on this left-hand cushion.
9. $16. $17. $24.
So all the,
25.
well, comparatively easy part of this comeback break from Stephen. Now 2 reds to the left-hand side. And you can get behind the far one or drop behind the near one. I do think that this is the kind of challenge that Stephen Hendry relishes. Gives him an extra buzz if he can make a clearance when the frame looks lost. Helps him maintain his concentration. Doesn't need the black.
33.
Yes, and if we can't get back behind this red, you could always leave an angle on the red to double it into the opposite centre. It looks as though that's what he's doing.
38.
Oh, what a big shot this is.
$38. Stephen Hendry.
So he went to win the frame, didn't put the cue ball onto the baulk cushion, and as you can see, not too happy, because I think Darren can get through to the red. So 30 points in front. So nearly pinched this frame. Yes, and the Welsh can now breathe a sigh of relief. Don't think there's any way back for Stephen. So if Darren had lost this frame, having got off to such a grand start, it might have done him a little bit of psychological harm.
8 and the frame.
As it is, against the odds, he's the long outsider. He takes the first frame.
Yes, Morgan at 25-1 for the title. Hendry bounced back in a second with a break of 69 to level off at 1 frame all. Just looking at Morgan's previous results here, he had an interesting match in the second round. Darren Morgan playing Brian Morgan. Oh, Ted would have had some fun with that, wouldn't he? Just as well he wasn't on it. Back into the third frame. Hendry's had the best start, but he's let Morgan in, and there's certainly a chance for him here. Morgan's trailing by 5-31.
One. 7. Eight.
Again, another good shot from Darren, using the other red to hold for the pink. And 3 reds nicely situated in the centre of the table. But he's going to have a bit of a problem with the red on the back cushion.
14.
Always much easier with the reds along the cushion if the black's on the spot. You don't have to do much with the white.
Fifteen. 21. 22. 28.
So you can just take it up.
29.
So now that awkward red, as John said, is the one that could cause Darren a problem. I don't think he can move it here. And he's bounced a couple of inches too far.
35.
And he's got a 9-point lead now. It really would be a big shot to try, and I think he can leave the cue ball tight on the cushion. And as long as he can find the redder place at the other end of the table, not too near a pocket, he'd put the pressure on Stephen.
Yes, it's certainly one of those shots if he takes it on, and it looks as though he is. But should he miss it, it looks certain to finish over the corner pocket. Well,
35.
of course, played in
Darren
such a
Morgan.
way that he was snookering behind the black, but he's rather fortunate. Had the red come out another half an inch, Stephen would be able to pot it.
Well, that's as skillful a shot as you'll see played this week. From being in loads of trouble, he's returned the compliment.
Foul. 6.
And
Stephen Hendry.
now, one good pot from Stephen. Looks sure to drop on the pink if he can knock the red in, and Darren could be in trouble.
Foul and a miss. Stephen Hendry, 4.
Yes, and I'm sure they have the white replaced.
Foul and a miss. Stephen Hendry, 4.
Darren hasn't got within 4 or 5 inches of hitting the red as yet.
Yes, and he should certainly have learned the angle from the previous shot. Well, Darren was querying something with the referee there, but I think that shot proved the referee was quite right.
So, can he get through? From that picture, it looks as if it can. That picture tells you he definitely can. And enough angle to take the cue ball down towards the colours.
1.
Yes, but not the best of shots from Stephen. Can cut the pink in here, but it would have been difficult to hold for the yellow.
Seven. Nine.
Well, he's played that well, and one good pot now on the green, and it will be end of frame.
Well, now then.
12.
Yes. Half inch the other way, the green stays on the brink. Darren Morgan had a chance to take this frame as it is. It certainly put it beyond his reach.
16.
So perhaps Stephen has just had the edge of the luck so far. Not a lot in it. But the attention always seems to be focused on the highly visible
21.
fluke. But there's not a lot between the two players. As all the signs have been a
27
long,
on the frame.
hard-fought match, but it's Stephen Hendry who takes the lead. 2 frames to 1.
Much more straightforward in the next one. That was Darren Morgan with a nice break of 69, levelling off at 2 frames all. So both matches, 2-all as they went to the tee into. Hendry hasn't won this since 1990, up against Darren Morgan, who got to the semi-finals here last year, knocked out by Ronnie O'Sullivan, and went on to the semi-finals of the Worlds as well. 2-all at the interval. Then Hendry started to play a little bit and took 3 in a row, so leading 5 frames to 2. Let me take you into the last frame of their session. Hendry's had 1 red, but look what he's left Darren Morgan. The black is over the bottom left pocket, and this red won't need much persuading.
1.
I think the only problem for Darren at the moment is that there's an embarrassment of riches. Nowhere to start. Reds all over the place. Colours all in favourable positions. Can actually lull you into a sense of false security that you think that no matter where you go, you're sure to be on an easy red.
8.
Yes, these are positions you can soon lose your concentration. I think it's imperative that Darren
9.
certainly gets a sizable break at this visit. He wants to stay into this match.
$15. 16. 23. 24. 31.
Near straight red to the left middle. Shouldn't have too much of a problem. The blue's waiting for him. And this is where I think Darren is seeing problems that aren't really there. There's nothing particularly tactical about this. Straight on the blue, just short. As long as he doesn't get the cue ball near the angles of the pocket, John.
Yes, in actual fact, it doesn't matter which side of the blue he finishes. There's still simple reds to follow.
32.
He kept hesitating about the shot and just puts pressure on himself. However, he's got perfect on the blue. Just a little screw for one of the two reds into the same centre pocket.
$37. 38.
'Well, perhaps just the wrong side of straight. Needed to be straight or just the cue ball an inch to the right as we were looking at it to pull back for a red in the same pocket. So, because he
45.
wasn't quite right, he's just gone astray. Still expect him to knock this red in, but it could have been easier.
$46.
Yes, and this time not quite the right side of the blue. You'll still have a red into the green pocket, but certainly won't be as easy. In fact, he may take the green. He's looking. Selecting the blue. And that's a good shot. Hadn't got much angle on the blue to get down into the reds,
51.
but couldn't have played that any better.
$52. $59.
So doing very well to keep this break going with some good shots. Now 58 points in front. Well, he just needed
59.
that red
Darren
colour
Morgan.
and one more red.
Yes, and I think the camera angle showed there where you could see him actually twitch on the shot. His arm, shoulder came right round. What a mistake that was.
One.
Well, in the very first frame of this match, Stephen was 67-0 behind and came close to making a great clearance, just failing on the last red when everything was there for him. But if he was to do it on this one, obviously the gap of 2 and 4
6.
frames psychologically would be very much in his favour, and it would be cruel to Darren. He'd have to think
7.
about that before the start of tonight's session. So, big task, but this man's capable of doing it.
Yes, and
12.
this is the first of the difficult reds. So there's only the red there directly behind the yellow that's in a difficult situation now.
$18. $19.
Well, played on the brown or yellow then. Has he come far enough? If he takes the blue, he's got to bring the cue ball up and down off this back cushion. He's 39 behind, so he can afford to take the yellow. It's not desperate that he takes a bigger colour.
24. 25.
Yes, and this time the perfect angle on the blue to drop down behind the red. One thing he doesn't want here is to finish too straight. Well, he's made sure of that. And I think he would
30.
like to have gone another 3 or 4 inches towards that back cushion. This has made this shot a lot more difficult. Well, is he taking it on? Can't make his mind up. He knows should he miss it, he'll probably leave it over the pocket. I think he's electing a safety. And I feel
30.
that was the right shot to play. He got back into the game, 28 points behind. All the colours in the middle of the table, so whoever pots this last red could come out on top.
Well, it's easy to hit going that way. Referee Martin Webb just checking to see if it could hit it direct.
Well, that's a mistake by Darren. Much too thin a contact on the red. And as I said before, whoever pots this red becomes favourite. All the colours
1.
nicely situated.
Eight. 10.
And if Stephen clears up here, this will hurt Darren Morgan. He had this frame won. He'd done all the hard work after Stephen had made a bad error on the black. Missed the simplest red into the middle pocket. At virtually
13.
frame winning time.
Seventeen. 22.
Needs pink and black.
$28.
So at 6
35
frames to 2, Stephen Hendry well on the way to the semi-final. It should have only been 5-3, but he looks a warm favourite now.
As I say, won it in 89 in 90, and went out in the semi-finals in 91, quarter-finals 92, finalists last year. The champion of the world looking pretty good, looking very confident. In fact, he's scored 4 of the 7 centuries that have been set up so far here in this year's Royal Library Championship. So, Martin Webb, the referee on this one, let him get it underway. He's just waiting for Hendry to sort himself out at the table. There we are.
The 9th frame, Darren Morgan to break.
So Darren Morgan, the Welshman, to break off. 6-2 down. And you'll hear commentary from John Spencer and Ray Edmonds.
Yes, David, and I think the 6-2 scoreline rather flattered Stephen Hendry. Darren Morgan got off to a good start yesterday and had a few chances, but Stephen finally finished pretty strongly. Give him an inch and he'll take a yard. So it's a big task for the Welshman today. Well, it was a big shot that Stephen played there. As you see, he's not on a colour, so I can only think that he tried to dislodge the red near the black. Pretty ambitious.
One. Three. Three, Darren Morgan.
That red was more difficult because he didn't get close enough and far enough down the table.
Yes, and what's causing the problem here for both players, of course, is the pink and black tied up and the blue on the baulk cushion. Only colours they can play for are the yellow, green and brown. Although it looks like Stevens finished on the blue here, but this isn't an easy shot. He would certainly like to get the blue back on its spot. Well, that was a shot played with an immense amount of confidence.
Seven.
So a very
7,
positive shot
Stephen
there
Hendry.
from Stephen, bringing the pink into play a little better and opening the reds.
Foul and a miss. Stephen Hendry 4.
Well, a miss given, but it's also a free ball, I believe. So we may say Stephen, well, he may take the brown on into the centre, but he could, of course, make Darren play again. He is snookered. Well, this is a very positive shot, so he's obviously feeling very confident.
One. Four. Five.
And that's played so that Stephen can now bring the black into play. Don't know whether he's quite got the angle on the red to screw back and remove the other red. Now he's taking the top one, so
11.
well, it didn't look from this angle as though the pink would go, but now an excellent chance for Stephen.
$17. $18.
Well, 3 times Stephen's tried to get onto this red to the left of the black. Has never quite had the right angle. What do you think, John? This time?
Yes, it's just getting that right angle to screw back enough,
24.
avoid hitting the black and kiss the red away from the black. And I don't think he's got the angle now. I think he'll be going into the black as well.
$25.
And that was always going to be the problem.
$25. Stephen Hendry. Foul and a miss. Stephen
Well,
Hendry 4.
the last time Darren came to the table, he was trying to get the thinnest contact and missed. Left a free ball. This time there is no free ball, so being asked to play the shot again.
Well, Darren just said to the referee, I can see more of the red than that, but of course he's playing it as fine as he can, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Foul under miss. Stephen Hendry, 4.
Yes, and the referee now will have to warn Darren that should he miss the balls again, the frame will be awarded against him. 3 consecutive misses when you can hit the ball on. Yes, I haven't seen the referee warn Darren yet.
So Darren, having got Stephen in trouble at his 3rd attempt, needs to get into this match again. To be fair, he's had precious little chance so far, but he's still looking a bit edgy.
Yes, and this is another tricky shot. He has to play the red into centre. Won't have much control over the white.
One. Seven. Eight.
So the lead now 49 points. Now 56, and surely Stephen won't let this one slip away from this position.
15. 60.
So now 64 ahead. And after this red, Darren would
23.
need snookers.
$24. $31. 32. 38. $39.
Stephen looking in reasonable form.
45.
Not being put under any pressure at all at the moment.
Stephen Hendry, 45 on the frame.
And Darren's had enough, so the lead increases now. Stephen Hendry, 5 frames clear at 7-2.
Big job from Dennis now.
Yeah, I think he was a bit disappointed last night. It should have been 5-3. He let it slip to 6-2. It was a tall order. The first game was always going to be important, but Stephen seems to be getting better as the tournament goes on. He hasn't really played terrific this season with not having won a ranking event, but it's just a matter of time. As you say, he's made the 4 century breaks, but he's not really on the top of his form, but he's getting towards that.
He was saying that it was interesting when he knocks in 454 points against Willie Thorne without reply. He's knocking in centuries, and we're saying he's not playing all that well.
Well, we're just saying he's given his opponent more chance than he normally does, because he usually kills a frame off.
Okay then, there he is, the champion of the world, who, as I say, hasn't won this since 1990 in the final last year against Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's gone. 7-2.
Looks completely relaxed. So does Darren, but I'm sure deep down he's not. Really is a tough proposition playing Stephen.
One.
Yes, and that wasn't played as a shot to nothing. Made sure the white finished short of the vault colours. So another chance now for Stephen to build up the lead.
Four. Five.
And this next shot going to clear the black spot completely, so
12.
looking a bit dangerous for Darren.
13.
Stephen certainly looking solid form.
20. 21.
Well, Stephen taking the chance to open the pack. There were
28.
a couple of reds available. Yeah, he's got a pot to the left middle, but it's not quite as easy as it looks.
Well, I'm sure he'll take this one on, and he's probably the best middle pocket player on the circuit.
$28. Stephen Hendry.
little bit ironic for Darren Morgan. Stephen misses one that we thought he might get, and he leaves Darren perhaps in more trouble. Can't get to the red to the far corner. One to the middle is a big shot to take on when you know your opponent is 5 frames in front and in good form.
Yes, Ray, and one wonders whether that was
12-5.
played out
Stephen
of
Hendry.
confidence or desperation. Could have rolled up to the pack of reds for a containing safety. And now he's given Stephen another chance to perhaps go on and clinch this frame here.
1.
Yes, he mustn't let desperation creep in. If he's got any chance at all, it's going to be by playing snooker as it should be played and outplaying Stephen Hendry. But of course, as we keep saying, it's easy to say, but quite a task.
Four. 5. Twelve. 13.
Stephen's task isn't quite straightforward. To get nicely on the red near the blue, he's got to be accurate. The red at the back of the cluster doesn't look on from here, but that picture might not be quite accurate. We'll see.
Well, it looks as though
20.
you're right, Ray. He's going for the red near the blue. But should he knock this in, I feel certain he'll go on and win the frame.
20. Stephen
And I
Hendry.
must confess that was an unexpected miss.
One.
So that's a good opening pot from Darren. Now needs to knock the black in, open the reds, and have the rub of the green.
Yes, well, I think he may be on the
8.
bottom red of those two. But it's certainly not going to be easy for Darren. Red against the ball cushion. 2 reds against the side cushion, so a lot of work to do.
9. 16. 17.
Darren Morgan, of course, can think about
23.
last year when he was 6-2 down to Jimmy White, fighting back to win 9-6 in a famous victory. I think his task is a little
24.
harder today. And I'm sure Darren is aware of that. His record against Stephen is not very good
29.
at all. Only ever beaten Stephen once, I think.
Yes, and this has been a
30.
good break up to now, but this is where the problems start. 3 reds all near the side cushions. And I certainly don't fancy him to go on and win the frame at this visit.
$36. $37.
And this time looks as though he's finished just the wrong side of the blue, so I have to go down for the one at the bulk. And that's another
42.
good positional shot, got just the right angle on the red.
Well, he'd used the full width of the
42.
pocket on his last
Darren
3
Morgan.
shots. And at that pace, it wanted a tremendous shot to get the cue ball out. And he had no need to play it with that power. Could have just dropped on a baulk colour. But he's been lucky to cover the red to the right corner there. Well, that really was a bad one. Needed a thin contact on the red. And 11 points behind. I reckon this one's got away from you, Darren.
1.
Stephen there just screwing back to get the through to the red between the
3.
green and brown. But certainly doesn't
4.
seem to be any danger at all that Stephen will take this. 15 points in front.
Seven. 9. 12.
So that's enough. And
60.
Darren did well to get back into this frame, and if he could have played a decent safety shot and just snatched this one, well, his hopes might still be alive, but you really can't see him.
21.
getting rid of a 6-frame deficit. And he'll be very disappointed.
27
He's proud of his
on the frame.
game, but nevertheless, Stephen Hendry worthy of the lead. 8 frames to 2 in front.
Yes, the bookmakers have had him 11 to 10 favourite to win this title. A lot of people thought the odds weren't that generous, but my goodness, he's looking good now. And he has got a very good record, of course, in this championship, even though he hasn't won it since, 1990. He was there in the final in 88 when Doug Mountjoy beat him. What a story that was. Great comeback by Doug. And Stephen won it in 89 and 90, both times beating Steve Davis. 91, he was knocked out in the semi-finals by Jimmy White, who went on to lose to John Parrott in the final. And then in 92, he only reached the quarter-finals, Stephen. He was knocked out by Alan McManus. And then, of course, last year in the final against Ronnie O'Sullivan, Ronnie wins it. And as you know, yesterday, Ronnie is gone from this championship. So Stephen Hendry looking pretty good. And what is he? 8-2 up, needs one more to go through into the semi-final.
So the kiss on the yellow has given Darren Morgan a reasonable chance. Wry smile from the world champion. He doesn't like to give anything away. 8-2 in front. And still fights for every ball.
One.
Yes, and I think the only chance Darren has got to get back into this match is to get a sizable break together and get some confidence behind his play. Unfortunately for him here, when potting the black, I think it may go on its own spot and tie the red up.
Eight.
It's a good pot, the black. Has he got the angle to dislodge this red? Oh, yes.
9.
Yes, and that's where you need that
16.
little bit of luck. Not too bad for Darren. He has the red into the left centre and should be on the yellow or brown if he pots it. Well, I'm afraid
16.
you can't
Darren Morgan.
afford to miss those. Couldn't have got much closer, but I think he has managed to cover the red over the centre with the blue.
One.
Well, Stephen a little unlucky. And now forced to take the blue on. Full-blooded attempt. He knows he'll leave the red over the middle. That won't be in his mind. It's all about knocking the blue in.
One. Stephen Hendry.
So Darren's error not as costly as it might have been.
1. Eight.
And again, not the best of shots from Darren. Still has this red along the back cushion, but as we keep saying, these are not easy on these tables.
9.
Played that well, however. And this is just what he needs. A sizable break. Not just to get his confidence together, but to put a bit of doubt into Stephen's game.
16. 17. 24. 25. 28.
'Darren was having to work
Darren Morgan.
very hard for all his points there. The balls were a bit awkward, and one's got to say he's a little unlucky that the ready mist has gone over the pocket.
One.
And Stephen immediately attacking the balls,
8.
split the reds nicely. So that 35-point lead that Darren has may not count for a lot.
9. 13. 14.
Darren's pride will be hurt if he doesn't win another frame. He certainly is a better player than a 9-2 defeat.
20.
He hasn't taken his chances, particularly yesterday.
20.
Well,
Stephen
he's
Hendry.
got another chance here. An unexpected miss from Stephen. And I think that's probably what we mean when we say he's not playing well. It's the unexpected miss, something that occurs in his game now perhaps more than it did a year or so ago.
1.
Yes, and this has to be a good chance for Darren now. 24 points in front.
Eight.
Now 31 in front, so just a black with this red here. Pink with the red into the centre, that would be sufficient.
9. $16. 17. 23. 24.
So this frame well and truly won, and he'll improve Darren's outlook somewhat. He'll still
29.
have a huge task ahead of him, but as I was saying earlier, he's got a lot of pride.
29,
It'll do his
number
pride a
frame,
bit of good.
Darren Morgan.
Stephen says enough, so Darren Morgan pulls one back, but he's still 8 frames to 3 behind.
Big uphill climb, have to climb a bit of a Welsh mountain. Just to mark your card when you can see the snooker here today. We're on here on BBC One up until 10 to 4, and then we've got a nice long programme, 4:30 till 6 o'clock on 2, and of course your regular late night slot for the insomniacs. We shall be seeing John Pat and James Watanabe in a minute as well. Darren Morgan, I mean, it is an uphill climb, but he is a very good player, and I don't think he gets the credit for how good he is. You can't not be a good player and be number 8 in the world.
I think he's better than a good player. He's a great player, and he doesn't get the recognition, but it's only a matter of time, and it winds Darren up. He wants to prove to them that he can do it, and he's just got to take each frame by frame as it comes along. You never know what can happen in this game. Only one player can play at the table at any one time.
Quite true. Stephen Hendry, he was 8-4 down to Dean Reynolds, wasn't he? And pulled it all back. Nobody thought he was going to come back from that.
And won one of the games on a respotted
That's
black
right.
as well.
Respot black to stay in the championship. So, here he is then. Looking very calm, very cool. Having scored in this one. And Morgan's got to do it again, again, and again. Live coverage here this afternoon.
I think David saying again and again and again is the pressure that is on young Darren. Bad enough against ordinary players, or by that's probably an insult, but all the pros are pretty good, but Stephen is something special.
Yes, and there we saw that confident shot there. Could have been a shot to nothing, but he played it to stay on the
6.
ball colours, although he finished up nicely on the blue. But it shows the
7.
confidence he has in his game at the moment.
$14. 15. 22. 23. $30. 31.
So still a couple of reds loose, but Stephen has got a bit of an angle on the cue ball here. Maybe he can't hold for those two, and well, he could have elected to go into the reds. More secure position from the green.
$34. 35.
Yes, and although there's the one loose red here, I feel sure Stephen will go into the pack this time.
$42.
Well, can he get at one? It's basically he can get to the red. There you can see it, so I think things look rather ominous now for Darren.
$48. 49. $55. 56.
So this black would put him 63 in front, and then one more red in the colour would virtually be enough.
Yes, and this is what amazes me, the time he plays for reds into the centre pockets.
64.
So much confidence in those shots. This is the ball that will leave Darren requiring snookers. And I think there's quite a few more to come here.
71. 72.
Well, you just saw Darren there in his chair. He's done nothing wrong this frame. One reasonably good safety
78.
shot. One good pot from Stephen, and Darren's sat in the chair and watched his hopes
79.
disappear. But this is typical of Stephen Hendry.
84.
So many times he wins the frame that he wants in style. Not much pressure on him at the moment with that lead,
85.
but nevertheless just reminding his next opponent that he is playing well.
$92. 93.
Yes, he'll certainly be still trying as hard to get another century on the board.
Well, I'm sure he wanted to finish with one, but nevertheless, it was a magnificent break to take Stephen Hendry into the semi-final. He wins 9 frames to 3.